This is KamehaRadio, a Dragon Ball podcast. We are back again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning so much in with us. My name is Alex, joined again by David. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm getting there. It's been a week. It's been a heck of a week.
It's only Wednesday.
It is. It's the worst day of the week.
It's only gonna get worse.
Don't say that. No, it's been a busy week. I've had stuff going on at the house, and whatnot. But yep, today we are going to be talking about episodes 4 and 5 of Dragon Ball Daima. We talked about Fusion World last week with Phil, which we greatly appreciate coming on and joining us on the pod last week. Was good to get a third perspective and a lot of the stuff that's coming out. It does release this week. I'm excited about that.
Yep. Got 2 more boxes coming in.
For a total of how many is it this time?
6.
6. That's half a case. Half a case of set 4.
I mean, I'm not complaining. I pulled the alt art UI Goku, and as much as I didn't want the Vegito, I got the alt art Vegito. But...
Oh, you got the alt art Vegito.
Yeah, take a look.
Ooh, let me see. Nice. That's a good looking card.
Yeah, I'm not gonna complain about it.
If there's one thing that I'll give Fusion World itself is that every set that's come out, the art has just gotten better and better. So it's I got no complaints in the art department, except for the alt art, which we already talked about it last week. We won't talk about it again this week. But
which one was that?
The secret rare.
Yeah.
We had a whole conversation about that last week. But so we're gonna talk about Daima episodes 4 and 5. But before we get into that, I did want to say that I did end up going to the premiere of the Daima dub in theaters, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was supposed to go. I had tickets and I completely forgot. I purchased the tickets Friday night for Sunday, and Sunday came around, and I was making dinner. I was literally like scooping my food, and I was like, "Oh no, I forgot."
So it happens. We get so caught up in our day-to-day lives that like little things like that, and I think that's like the thing with like, you're buying your tickets like digitally now as opposed to like getting physical tickets. Like it used to be that you could go to if you wanted to see a movie, you go to the theater, they'd be at the booth, you get the physical tickets. Now it's all digital. So like everything in the world is now digital now. So it's like, I think with like digital stuff, we have a tendency to like forget that it even exists or that we have it. In a lot of cases, like I'm going to like some like a little mini concert at like a local bar or something, and it was like $15 for tickets, and like, but it's a digital ticket, and I'm afraid that like the day's gonna hit and I'm gonna completely forget that I got tickets for that. And I even took like time off to like go at like the start of the event. So
Well, you're 33, so you're gonna start forgetting things.
One step closer to the end. It's coming. It creeps up on you. But yeah, no, the Dragon Ball Daima dub was actually really good. It was, I would say that seeing it on the big screen, I was saying initially, like, I hope that like, this was before episode 3, we did the episode 3 breakdown and whatnot. But I was saying that I'm hoping that like it ends like with some action, to kind of justify the theatrical release for it. But while I did think it was good, and I enjoyed my time with it, I will say that I think a lot of people probably had the same sentiments. It was kind of a weird place to kind of leave it off.
Was it like a movie type of showing, like, or did it like go each episode like opening close?
So they did it. They kind of cut all the episodes down together and then kind of like let it like flow seamlessly. They did the original, like the first opening, or they did the like standard opening where they were talking about like Goku and his Saiyan heritage and how he started the whole Dragon Ball or meeting all his friends and stuff, and then like that particular opening bit. They went to the first episode, and then they did the title crawl after the first episode, and they played the they played the opener song during that credits.
Okay.
Which that wasn't dubbed, by the way. So I can't both the closing credits and the opening credits, they didn't show those at all. But they played the songs that are associated with them, and they were still like in their original Japanese vocalizations. So I still don't know if the opening and closings in English are going to be cringy or not, but
Usually.
but no, yeah. So like they did like the closing, and then they went right into episode 2, and then as soon as episode 2 ended, they went right into episode 3, and
Okay.
then they did. I think they did one final crawl at the end, but that was kind of it. No, I mean it did end a little weird. Like the 3 episodes ended, and then the lights came on, the credits rolled, everyone stayed till after the credits thinking there was probably going to be more. I knew there wasn't going to be more, so like I already like kind of started like getting up and going, but once the credits rolled, like people in the theater were still sitting there for like 15 minutes, 10 minutes after the fact, like wondering like, oh, is that it? Like, is that like, I think there was like some discussion having, but I was already like heading out the door, and it's at that point like I knew it was.
That's the Marvel effect.
Yeah, it is the Marvel effect. Everything needs to have a post-credit scene. I mean, the voice acting was phenomenal. All of the Stephanie Naldoni, hearing her voice as Kid Goku returning, it's not like she wasn't like in an exact 1-to-1 to her like OG Dragon Ball days or like Kid Gohan days. Like you can tell that there's been a bit of like a passage of time, but she still like fell right into the role like seamlessly. Like as soon as I heard her voice, it was like huge nostalgia trip for me.
Nice.
Being able to hear that. All the new voice actors for all the child counterparts were fantastic. The picks for Glorio was awesome.
How was his voice? Was it?
So the English voice actor for Glorio, it plays Sun Eater in My Hero Academia.
Okay, I can't remember what he sounds like.
You know who I'm talking about though, the guy who eats food and he grows the animal parts to fight with. He's like one of the big 3.
I'd have to you'd have to show me. It's been so long since I
Okay,
watched
yeah. I'll send you a pic then. But yeah, like he voices him and he does a really good job with Glorio. Even like Kid Shin sounds great. Kid Bulma sounds great. Kid Vegeta is pretty good as well. Kid Piccolo is really good. Like every single one, every single voice was phenomenal. The only one that kind of stood out to me as not necessarily being like amazing was Master Roshi's kid voice actor.
Really?
But that's because the kid voice actor is the same guy who does the voice of Roshi. So like he like it's like you could tell he's trying to sound younger, and he does a good job with it. But like it didn't like I wasn't like immersed in it because it still sounded like Roshi to me. So everybody else sounds a little different yet similar, but Roshi still sounded like Roshi. The translation itself of Japanese to English was actually pretty like seamless and smooth. Like there's like very like I think there was like very little like changes to like the actual translation and the dubbing, but for the most part it's almost 1-to-1. At least from what I remember from the first 3 episodes watching sub. And then but yeah, like it was pretty good. I don't have any complaints. I think when the official dub drops on Crunchyroll, whenever that ends up happening, because even after the fact, there wasn't like an announcement at the end or anything like, oh, it's coming, it's gonna be releasing on Crunchyroll on this date or whatever. Like we didn't get anything like that. So
it's coming at Netflix this week, isn't it?
I mean, it's on Netflix now. I don't know when the dub comes out. There was no indication of when like the dub is actually officially airing. I'd imagine it's soon since we saw it. It's out. It's there. But we just have to kind of wait and see. But yeah, no, I think a lot of people will be pleasantly surprised and happy with the Daima dub, and hopefully it continues that track record and kind of goes from there. But yeah. before we get into Daima episodes 4 and 5, though, I was a little blown away this week. I actually got I actually did get followed by Stephanie Naldoni on Twitter.
Nice.
With,
yeah.
Like I was all I did was just react to like there was like a Texas premiere or something. For the dub, and like I guess all of the cast went to go see it. And all I did was just reach out and was just like, you all did amazing. Like, you did a great job. Like, this is like, it shows that they did a good job. Yeah. And then she followed me back, and I was like, like the only thing that could be even better than that would be if like Sean Schemmel like followed me back. But I was very happy with that.
You take what you can get. Right?
No, I'm very happy. Like she's like a big part of my childhood too, just like Sean Schemmel is. So, it's still really cool. We gotta try and get her on the pod at some point.
Cool. Yeah.
Reach out to. I don't know if she has a publicist, but I know she has like a website. Maybe like we could reach out to her on the website and be like, hey, who knows? Like, hey, we want you on. We want to talk about your experience coming back as Goku. Because I think it's been 15 years since she last played Goku.
Yeah. Like
2009, I think, was the last thing she did, and I think that was for a video game. What would the game have been? Raging Blast 2? I think it might have been Raging Blast or Raging Blast 2 that she came back to. But that was.
I'm curious how much it would cost to get her on, though. I feel like we probably have to pay a good amount.
I don't know. It wouldn't be a public appearance, so I'm not sure how that would be. We can figure out logistics, and I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask. So, but we'll see. But that was really cool. So if we can get her on the pod, that would be awesome. But I mean, obviously she's probably going to be busy with a bunch of other press release and stuff too. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's get into Daima episode 4. I pretty much, for the most part, I remember 4 and 5, but you took notes, so lead us off with what started in episode 4.
Well, from episode 4, I think one of the big takeaways I got from the beginning of the episode was when they were in that shop and they were getting like they're looking at the delicacies or the candy or the bugs that they would eat them. They'd give them power-ups, kind of like sensu beans. So like the demon world has their own like form of sensu beans kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really neat.
Like, because like what was the lead up to that? It was like obviously their plane got stolen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they had
from some comment I saw that said Daima is just them having car trouble right now.
It's just having car trouble the whole way.
Mm-hmm.
It's very accurate. But they were in town. Their plane got stolen. They have to walk they have to walk to find a new means of transportation. They had to fly over. Like a chasm. Was it like the sealed chasm that went to the second demon world, or was it where the infinite void or the darkness was? I can't remember that part. They had to fight a dragon.
Yeah, I think that went over like the void.
Okay, yeah, that sounds right.
Like darkness or whatever, because if you fall into it, you're pretty much done.
Yeah. So they had to like slowly fly over there. They got attacked by a dragon. We saw a little bit more. We saw a little bit more combat.
And then they went into that shop.
Yep, and then they came across the shop. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
then they were looking for a plane. Glorio talked to the head shop guy, and he's like, "I don't got that," and he tried to cheap him out of a quick what is it looked like a Q-tip, but I'm guessing that's like a flower stem.
I think they called it a seed, some sort of seed.
Yeah, some sort of seed. Yeah, so that's what I was
like. It kind of looked like a dandelion seed, when you blow on it, and it's got the little puffy thing on the top, and kind of gave me the same vibes with that. I like that the old man was hard of hearing, and then the old man was like hard of hearing until like they started talking about like buying stuff, and then he like perked right up.
Yeah.
It's like typical sales merchant. But yeah, you mentioned the bugs. The bugs was not something that I was kind of expecting. Like there was one that, like you said, was like a sensu bean. What was the wording specifically? They said it was like that like it would like help you regain your stamina, I think is what they said.
Yeah. Basically, and then Goku was like, "Oh, like a sensu bean."
Yeah, just like a sensu bean. It looked like there was ones that like increased like strength, and there was ones that increased your speed and stuff like that based off pictures. And then they mentioned the there was a bug that enacted fusion.
I must have missed that one. I must have been.
Oh, you missed that?
I must have, because I must have been looking at like my phone or something because I missed that one.
Yeah, there was a bug and there was the merchant, I think, that brought it up. They were like, "Oh, this one fuses two beings together," and I saw that and I was like, "Are we getting a new fusion in Daima?"
Baby Vegito, baby Gogeta.
So it's
theory.
Go ahead.
You know they have the theory of Janemba coming back.
Yeah.
So then they're gonna fuse with the.
I feel like Kronk. I feel like Kronk right now. Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Yeah, baby Gogeta versus Janemba.
Oh my god,
circling back.
My theory could actually be relevant. Oh shit. Okay. All right.
I mean, why would they say that without foreshadowing something? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just me though.
I mean, it like because the only thing it really confirms is that we're gonna get a fusion at some point. Because they're not going to buy those bugs and then not use them. Like that would be kind of an afterthought. So obviously, like whoever they have to fight at the end of the series or even midway through the series, whenever they decide to do it, is strong enough to the point where like just them in their base is not enough. Them in Super Saiyan is not enough. So obviously there's going to be some sort of power discrepancy at some point. It does make me wonder what kind of fusion we're going to see, though. I know I saw some people were talking like, oh yeah, we're going to see baby Vegito or baby Gogeta. And it's like, I don't know if we're going to see that because Vegito is specifically through Potara and then, Gogeta is specifically through the Metamoran dance. So
it might be a whole new, like a whole new third name.
But like but then it's like if it's Goku and Vegeta, then it's like, okay, well, how many name variants can you have for different fusions between those two characters? Like
think of something.
Like would they actually like maybe go, I know like in like the manga for Vegito it was crap, what did they, I think they called him Veggie Rot or something like that. In the manga, using like Goku's like traditional Saiyan name in that particular fusion, or something like that. I don't know. Like I don't know what they could do, but it's also a cool prospect too because we know at some point like Piccolo was going to be joining the crew probably.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that I don't think we're going to see a Bulma fusion or anything like that, but like we got all these new characters too. Maybe there's going to be one with Glorio. Maybe there's going to be one with.
It's going to be. I'm going to 85%. No, 90%. Goku and Vegeta.
Oh yeah, I mean they're both. Yeah.
Who else are you going to like?
I mean, Piccolo would be an interesting one. I don't know how that would work.
It's not going to be hype enough. And you know how they are, like it's
yeah.
has to be Vegeta and Goku for everything.
And I mean, it's who's to say that we won't see multiples throughout the series? I don't think we know how many bugs they grabbed. We just saw like whatever was in their handful.
But does how's the fusion work? Like, does both people have to eat two of the bugs?
Do they? Yeah. Is it like two people at the same time with the bug? Yeah. Man, that's a miserable existence for those bugs. You gotta.
Yeah.
You're sitting there grabbing the bug. But no, I think it's cool. There's a third way of doing fusion that we've not seen before. It could be a completely separate fusion from everything we've known so far. So, I mean, it's cool. I mean, you can maybe make the argument it's a little overdone, but
Who doesn't love a fusion?
Yeah. I mean, fusions are always like the hype things to like talk about. So like I'm not against a third fusion. It's just one of those things where it's like we couldn't have maybe have done maybe something a little different. I don't know. It's who knows. It's Toriyama we're talking about. Um so yeah, that
wheel kind of thing.
which by the way, I mean, props to Goku for even having the idea of getting some of those bugs to begin with. Like that's a very like smart like tactical move on his part.
Yeah.
Just making sure that they're prepared for their journey. Like I don't think he usually like grabs sensu beans, but I feel like, you know, after the amount of fights that they have, like that's just like second nature. But like the fact that like out of nowhere, like he got like, it's not just the sensu bean bugs he got the fusion bug.
Yeah.
So like he prepared in advance. He's like, oh, we don't know what we're getting into, so we should probably get a bug for every occasion. So like that's really good forethought for Goku in this particular instance. So it makes me really wonder how we escalated down to him giving sensu beans to the likes of Moro after this whole thing. Like makes you question what he's.
I mean, he gave one to Cell too, so it's not a.
Yeah, but it is what it is. But yeah, so they get on the seed, and they fly on the seed, and then they have to like
they had to jump off.
They had to like jump off because it was losing trajectory and it was going to go into the pit. So it was almost like they had to. It was almost like they had to do an emergency eject on the seed. And then they continued traveling. And then was there any like meaningful conversations before they got into the town? Was that?
Not that I can remember.
I think the only thing that I can think of, or I might be getting ahead of myself, but wasn't there like a conversation between Shin and Goku about how Glorio's hiding something?
That's episode 5.
That is okay. I figured I was ahead there.
Yeah. But yeah, I liked when they got into the town. That machine that basically took away like the years off the citizens there. I thought that was pretty neat.
That was a really cool like it's a very dark concept.
Because I was like, oh, they're just like gonna imprison them for like, he's like 9 years of your life. I'm like, oh, they're just gonna be in prison. No, there's a machine that sucked their years out of your soul.
Yeah, insane. Which in episode 5, they one of the characters mentioned that people can live to be like 1,000 years old in the demon realm. So like it's kind of funny to me that like these people can live to be like 1,000 years old, but they're only like taking like 9 years of your life away with every instance so that you don't pay taxes. So it's like you're not really losing like that much amount of time, but like I guess like depending, it can add up, and depending on how often they come through town, like trying to do tax collection, like it could add up quite faster than what we think. But yeah, so they got into town. They're collecting gold coins, and they're taking years away from these denizens' life force for those that can't pay the tax. And obviously they saw like an old man was going to get sucked up, and obviously Goku, being the hero that he is, he had to hop in and do something about it, and he just completely wipes the floor with all the goons.
He was even like, "Oops, I think I overdid it."
Yep, it's the choreography. The choreography was really cool. It seems like he's finally like getting into the swing of like how to operate in a fight in this world. Through this fight, like it seemed like he was a bit more fluid. He knew the exact like extent of his reach.
I like the wasabi bomb. That didn't work.
Oh yeah, the wasabi bomb. Yeah, we had a mysterious character show up to try and that was more. I think that was the reason why he jumped in, not the old man. He jumped in because the mysterious hooded figure came in to try and save the day. They failed, and then they tried to go after them, and then they ran off, and Goku was like, "Oh, we gotta help him," and then jumped into the fray. And so they save this new person, and they take off they take off the mask, and she's a girl. It's Pansy. Which is a cute name, by the way. Like that's that seems like a very like undemon like name. Not that like Glorio is much more of a demon name either, but I mean like um I'm trying to like think of like the naming convention that like Toriyama usually does with like characters, right? Um like how all Saiyans are like named after like vegetables
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. Uh Frieza, all of Frieza's race is referring to things that are cold. Um um Obviously there's the whole magic theme in the Majin Buu saga. So it's it makes me wonder like what the naming convention is between like Glorio and Pansy
Mm-hmm.
and
It's good. I'm not sure what theirs would be.
yeah, cuz
It's,
I'm yeah, because
it's
they're
not straightforward.
yeah, cuz they're very like English like names.
Yeah.
Like Glorio seems like it's something that's an actual like name in the English language. Pansy is like a word that is like in the English language.
Yeah.
So it's I'm wondering if because maybe that's the theme. Maybe it's like he's using like words and like names and stuff from like an English standpoint because it's a whole different world, right? So it's like maybe he's just looking at it from that
Mm-hmm.
that mindset. I don't know. Um. So
I
yeah,
think that was pretty much it for episode 4.
yeah,
I think we've
episode 4 had some cool moments.
Mhm.
It had some pretty cool like world building elements to it as well. But not a whole lot really happened with that. So, are you where are you at with the series now in terms of giving it a rating? Are you do you think
Yeah, I
you're
think I've
comfortable with
given it.
ratings?
I give comfortable with the rating.
All right,
Um,
so I know I gave
by
my I
by by episode or just by
go
as a whole.
go by episodes. So I think I gave my thoughts on the ratings I would give the episodes, but from a couple episodes ago, from episode 1 to 4, where do you stand in terms of your ratings?
Episode 1, because honestly, I like each. After episode 3, I think episode 4 and 5 are better than episode 2 and 3, but not better than 1. Because one's like the build up of like introducing everything and
Mhm.
gets you hyped. So I'd probably give that like 8.5.
Okay.
2 and 3 probably 7.2,
Oh, you're
7.3,
going like real specific with your ratings.
and then 4. I'm gonna give that like 8, 8.2,
Eight.
8.1, and then I think episode 5 is my favorite so far, which we'll get into.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, after getting to the point where we're at now, and now that we've seen the dub as well, I think my rating for episode 1 was probably a little tame. I think I gave it an 8. I think I'm comfortable giving it a 9. For episode 1. Episode 2 I think is the same. It's a 7. I don't think it's it's definitely not a bad episode. It's just a bit slower of an episode. Episode 3 I'd give it an 8. I give episode 3 probably an 8. Just because we finally saw some action. We had a little bit more world building and stuff, which I'm all for. This episode 4, I think I'd probably give episode 4 an 8 as well. I think again it was a bit of a slower episode up until the end. And that
Yeah.
seems to kind of be like the trend with each of these episodes. It's like slow build up, and then at the very end of the episode's a fight, and then it's like okay, cool.
I just really enjoy the fighting style in the show versus like don't get. I mean, obviously, like Dragon Ball Z and Super, like the fights are amazing, and I love the way they do it. But also, just Daima just feels different in a good way. Just more I think more fluid,
Yeah,
and because obviously when they did Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that, like when they they were going super fast and like you just see shockwaves, like, it was just like the writers being lazy, and they didn't want to have to draw all the fight scenes out. Um, but like with Daima, you don't see that. You see pretty much like all the motions and all the
Yeah.
strikes and the jumps and
Yeah.
everything like that. That might change in future episodes, but as of right now,
And that's why I've always liked like OG Dragon Ball, because OG Dragon Ball is exactly that. Like you see the fights go down. Like all of the fight choreography is actually like really like thought out in terms of like pacing, in terms of actual like stylization and stuff like that. So like I'm with you. Like seeing the fights for Daima is like a breath of fresh air, because it takes me back to the old days when these things were like a lot of thought was put into these things.
yeah.
Which probably after Daima's over, if we should probably do after a break of reviewing Daima, we could probably dive into like a fat like a
GT?
no. um we'll talk about GT. I'm down to talk about GT, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that would like really be angry about my thoughts on GT. But
You don't want to upset the apple cart for the GT fans.
yeah, don't want to burn any bridges. But no, I think we could probably do like a five episode stints of like Dragon Ball, because I know you haven't seen OG Dragon Ball.
No, I haven't watched. I've seen bits and pieces here and there, but I haven't watched the whole thing.
Yeah, but we could do like I think OG Dragon Ball is only like, I want to say it's under 100 episodes, so we could do like 5 episode stints. Okay, or we could do like individual arcs in Dragon Ball, like just do a big binge.
Yeah.
And just kind of talk about our thoughts with that. That would be pretty fun. But so yeah, that ended episode 4. So we went right into episode 5. And the little girl tells it, like, she is wondering like what they're doing there, and where they're going, and was being really like kind of nosy about what the gang was doing there. She realized that that Goku is not from around here because of his rounded ears. So they were saying that he came. Did they say he came from the second demon world?
I think he dropped the. He said he came from the second demon world, but I think he ended up dropping the ball.
Yeah, like it came. Yeah, after.
Yeah,
Yeah, like he revealed it later, but like they were like trying to hide the fact that he wasn't from there.
Yeah.
And then we found out that her name was Pansy. So they were asking. Then there was like a lot of like little chit chat on the way to their destination, which was to the third demon realm's like king.
Yeah.
Or who their contact.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like little conversations here and there. Like she was asking how Goku was so strong, and he kept saying that, oh, it's just from training, and she's like, what?
Yeah.
like like that's like a foreign concept to her.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really funny. And it was in this episode that like Shin was actually like starting to get really suspicious of Glorio.
Mm-hmm.
He was letting Goku know like, hey, like there's something more going on with Glorio than what he's revealing. Like we need to be on our toes.
Yeah, because when they got to the castle, we found out that Pansy was princess, daughter of the king. So like when we got in there, and the king was like, didn't know who Goku was, and Glorio was like, hey, I just found this guy to help you get rid of Coma, but then that begs a question, kind of like where Shin was at, was like, wait, he's not telling us the truth. He said that
the king sent him. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like, well, how does Glorio know who Goku is then?
Yeah. So I mean, they're right to be on their toes. They don't know that they're in a foreign place with people that they don't really know, and they with people they don't really know. So I mean, they really do just need to kind of pay attention and kind of make sure that they're not being misled. There was a point of conversation before they got to the castle where I think they were talking about like Deborah's reign in the demon realm, and how like King Goma is making things a lot worse than it was under Deborah, which is really surprising to me because as evil as they were kind of pinning like Deborah to actually be, like the fact that like King Goma is worse than Deborah like was kind of a surprising like tidbit. I think what was it, a conversation about like the gold coin tax and like how the siphoning of their life was like a lot more aggressive than it was under Deborah. Like what do you remember exactly what?
I can't remember the exact conversation. See, if it was in like dubbed, like I'd probably remember it better because like subbed, like I'm like paying attention, but like
You're taking in more information
yeah,
because you're watching it. Yeah.
mhm.
I feel like that was the conversation. I can't remember
I
it
remember
exactly.
I remember Deborah being brought up.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like what if Deborah came back now, like because he's all good and stuff, like
Oh,
in the
well, that part's filler. Like Ghost Deborah was and all that was filler, but it was good filler. I thought I actually, that's the one thing I've always liked about like Dragon Ball is like the majority of filler in Dragon Ball is actually surprisingly good. So it's so like it's kind of hard to like distinguish like actual like canon to filler in situations like that. That would be really funny though if Deborah came back and he was like, "Oh heavens, oh heavens, what have they done with my world?" He puts like a executive order in to like plant flowers in every single town.
yeah. Give everyone their lives back.
The currency isn't gold coins, it's hugs. Because it's all about love now.
It's the love realm.
He turns into Rebrian. Oh no.
Deborah. Deborah.
I sent you my love. It's so awful. But yeah, so they get to the castle, and Glorio talks to the guards, and the guards really, it's really fun. And this was an interesting. Maybe you caught this too, but like before he talks to the guards at the gates, like Pansy was like let me talk to him, and Glorio was like, stay out of this, you don't like I know what I'm doing. And then he talks to the guards, and they were gonna let him in, but they weren't going to let the other two in. They were a little skeptical about Goku and Shin. And then Pansy steps in, and they're like, "Would you really turn away the king's daughter?" And so we find out that she's the daughter of the third Demon World King. But it makes me wonder, like, how does Glorio? Because clearly he had a conversation with the king. Like, we find that out later in the episode that they did have an arrangement between the two. But how does he not know who Pansy is?
Maybe she just wasn't there.
Could be that simple. Could be that simple, I guess. But I don't know. It seemed a little too convenient that they didn't didn't have a run in like with each other like at all, or he didn't have like he knows who the king is, but how would he? I would imagine that the princess of that realm would like be like a face of that realm to an extent.
Well, I mean, she's probably out and about trying to cause mayhem to those those like secret police.
Yeah, like it's like I kind of look at it as like Dr. Briefs, right? Like Dr. Briefs owns Capsule Corp, like that's his company, but like everyone knows who Bulma is, right? Like it's the I would think that it's like the exact same like mentality in the demon realm. It's like, and that's why she goes around with a mask and a hood, because she's got to hide her identity. But it's still the fact that like I would imagine that her being in that position of power, that she would be kind of paraded around as the princess she is to an extent, and that people would know who she is. But maybe that's not how it works in the demon realm. Maybe I'm just overextending. But
there's nobody feels in the demon
realm. Yeah. So yeah, they go and they talk to King Kana Kanan.
Kanan Jarrus.
Kanan Jarrus. I know it starts with a K. I just don't remember what the exact.
I couldn't pronounce it.
I think it's Kana. Like, I think it's Kanna. Um, but yeah, Glorio like reestablishes that like he had some sort of dealing with he had some sort of like deal set up with the king. Then the king starts questioning Goku. Um, asking about like Goku and why did he asked why they were there, right? Like it was almost like the king didn't really like know like
Yeah, I
the
think
king brought them there to end King Goma's reign, but like I don't think he realized like how like to the
he
extent as
didn't
to why they were there.
he didn't believe, like, because Goku's like, "Oh, we're here to pretty much take out Goma," and then uh he's saying how powerful he is, and the king didn't believe how
Oh,
powerful he
that's
was.
right, because he said they said that that he beat Majin Buu, and they were like
Yeah, and he's
like
just a
that.
kid.
I was like, there's no way with with how small you are.
And he tried to hook up his daughter to with Goku.
Oh yeah, that's
And she's like, he's like, when you're older, and she's like, I'm only 84 years old.
oh yeah. How wait 84? Yeah, and that's when they had the whole conversation of they can live to be like 1,000 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um. Yeah. So they did all that. They had a whole conversation there, and then the king wanted to put them to the test because he wanted to make
Mhm.
sure that they got the right people to be able to handle the job. Um. Which they kind of talked about how like the king is like a crime boss of the realm. Like he's
Mhm.
almost like a mafia boss.
I got those vibes. Yeah.
No, I think they mentioned that specifically, like that he's like part like the the king and his lackeys are like a crime syndicate, or treat it like a crime syndicate. Um, and that's a very like crime syndicate thingy to kind of do would be would be like, oh, you say you're the guy for the job, let's see if you actually are the guy for the job.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, they so they take him to go um do some training in the against his henchmen. Meanwhile, there's a pan over to Dende, and he's being taken care of by some nanny, I guess, which was really sweet. I thought it was really interesting that like
They're treating him well over there.
they're treating him really well. The nanny seems to actually have taken a liking to Dende and is actually
Mhm.
like taking care of him proper. Um, but I don't remember what there's a lot of there's a lot of like misremembering and and not remembering of these past couple episodes. So we do apologize in advance, but it's
Yeah.
what do you remember what the conversation was between the nanny and King Goma to about Dende? Like
What was it? It was,
he like he asked her to like read faster or read better, like tell it better.
yeah, because
Or
basically he was saying he was gonna, because Dende's important and has to do something with it, like make the Dragon
that's
Balls. So,
right. They were saying he said something along the lines of having Dende make a new set of Dragon Balls
hmm,
in the Demon Realm since they can't get the ones from the Tamagami.
yeah.
Um, so that really makes me curious as to like what the actual like plans of King Goma are. And we know that he's mentioned like the evil third eye, and we don't the only thing we know I think of the evil third eye was that like it has the ability to like influence people, like
Mhm.
control them. Um, but I don't think that's to like to the exact like extent of what it does. There's probably more to the story that
Mhm.
we've yet to see. Um, but I don't know how that's going to work because we know that like there's a thing as like light wishes and dark wishes. So like with Dende being more of a light being, is it like is creating a new set of Dragon Balls based on the will of the person that creates them? Is it a matter of like where they're from? Like since Dende was born in the outside the demon realm, is he of light energy compared to dark energy? Um, like because wouldn't making a new set of Dragon Balls just be like making another Shenron, and therefore you couldn't make dark wishes like that?
Unless the old Namek guy is gonna try to take over Dende's body and
Oh,
uh,
that's an interesting thought.
make it and have the power and youth to make a new set of Dragon
I
Balls.
don't. I'm still of the mindset that of the mindset that like Neva is like he's still like a good guy, but like he's obviously like he's like shackled. Like he's only doing what he's being told to do for the sake of existing still.
Yeah.
For survival. And not
Which
that
would make sense to him wanting to take over Dende's body to live longer.
yeah, but I mean like Goma also told him that he would give him another 1,000 years. So it's like why would you need to be younger if your life's just being unnaturally expanded anyway? I don't know. I don't know if I see Neva as like a bad guy though.
No, I don't get that. I don't get that much vibe out of that either. But I do when I don't. It's kind of like sometimes I'm like, I don't know. You can be kind of bad, but like at the same time, not.
Yeah.
Like when he was basically on Earth, like collecting the Dragon Balls, like you got that like evil vibe from him, and he's just crazy old Namekian too.
Yeah. So I found out that apparently like because I didn't remember this from OG Dragon Ball. Kami also had the ability to actually like undo the time constrictions on the Dragon Balls as well.
Okay.
Because I think he did it after like the King Piccolo fight. Because I don't know if you even like have if you remember any of it at all, or even like heard hearings of it. But like when Demon King Piccolo made his wish on the Dragon Ball to like on the Dragon Balls to like make him younger again, he kills Shenron.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, like he shoots like a mouth beam at Shenron. It actually kills him, and it actually like made the Dragon Balls completely inert. And it wasn't until like after Goku beat him and he climbed the Korin's tower and got to the lookout that like Goku wanted to bring back all of his friends that passed away, and Kami saw like his good intentions that he had, and actually restored Shenron back to himself again. Like so I think that's like an inherent. I don't think it's necessarily an evil like look that he had. I think it's an ode back to that moment. And it just goes to show that like Namekians have like a lot of like have a large range of like abilities and stuff that they're able to actually like do. I don't know if I necessarily saw that as like him being evil more so than just like oh like other Namekians have done this before. So
Yeah.
um
That's the vibe I got.
but that was something that I didn't even remember until like just recently. But yeah, so but yeah, I mean it'll be interesting to see what more King Goma has in store, because it can't just be about the third eye. There's got to be more going on. The fact that he wants a whole new set of Demon Realm Dragon Balls made, it just seems like there's a bigger grand plan than just him taking the throne, him having the third eye and controlling everybody. Like I don't know. It's interesting.
And we still got to figure out what Shin's sister's research project.
Oh yeah. I mean, we did find out in the first episode that she did go to Earth shortly after Deborah and Babidi went. So how much time has passed since between the two of them is kind of unclear, but
yeah,
like maybe she went there to go retrieve like maybe Deborah's body. Maybe she I don't know, maybe she was doing like research on like Majin Buu or something. I don't know. That's a good question too. I think that's the biggest thing that I love about the show is that like there's never been a bigger sense of mystery of what's going on in Dragon Ball than what's going on right now. Like you can maybe make the argument of like the Goku Black arc being that way, but like I think it was for the most part kind of like on the nose. Like once Zamasu was like officially like revealed or shown, to us, like it was kind of like on the nose. Like okay, like yeah, Goku Black is Zamasu. Like why else would they introduce Zamasu otherwise?
There's a lot more mystery to this show.
Yeah, but there's a lot of mystery, which I really do like about it.
And speaking of things I did like,
oh yeah,
when they were doing the fight scene with Goku and all the henchman, he goes Super Saiyan just for a moment.
That scene was animated beautifully.
Yeah.
I love that it was just a short instance. It was a tease. Is exactly what it was. It was a tease of things to come.
Yeah.
And the way like his whole hair just stood up black.
Yep.
And then like for just a split second, you saw it flash gold. And then he does his traditional like pose that he does.
Fun fact. So in GT, Kid Goku turns Super Saiyan in episode 5, and in episode 5 Daima, Goku goes Super Saiyan.
Really?
So, yeah, just a little fun fact there.
I wonder.
You didn't know that.
Yeah, I did not know that. It's been a while since I actually watched GT from front to back, so I didn't quite remember when he actually went Super Saiyan. But that's a lot sooner than I would have expected. Yeah, I wonder if that was intentional.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's a lot of there's a lot of throwback to GT though in this show.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot of throwback to a lot of things.
I think
it's in Dragon Ball as a whole.
Yeah, I wonder if like Toriyama had some like regrets about GT. I don't know if there's because like the only thing that he was like involved with in GT was like the character design, and that was like really it. Like Super Saiyan 4 was like his like creation. So
I must say, I didn't think he had much. I thought that was all like American made.
no, it was still Japanese. It was still like a product from Japan. It just wasn't done by Toriyama or his studio, from my understanding. Because at that point, Toriyama was like done. Like the story he wanted to tell of Dragon Ball was done at that point. But I think Toei didn't want to lose the time slot that Dragon Ball had on television at the time.
Yeah.
And they didn't know necessarily what to fill that with, so they concocted GT as a continuation. And they worked with Toriyama, like they got designs from Toriyama, but like the story itself was not Toriyama's story. The characters as a whole, in terms of like their motivations and stuff like that, they weren't like a product of Toriyama. Like it was just the designs, I think, for the most part, that he had involvement in. And I'm wondering if the reason why Daima is relatively GT coded is because he might have had some regrets of not being involved in that more.
It's good. Could be.
Because I mean, regardless of how lazy his writing could be in places and how forgetful he was at times, and like people can make all these accusations of Toriyama as they want, but like I think deep down he really did like care about the works about his baby, right? Like I don't think any person that ever created like their own IP ever was like just stopped doing it because they didn't love doing it. I think for him, he wanted to do other things. Obviously that's where Sandland comes from and whatnot, but like obviously and I mean probably the movie which shall not be named probably had something to do with it too. So like he probably saw like the semi-negative reception of GT and was probably like, I probably could have been a bit more involved in that, and so he's like kind of rectifying that with Daima, I think too. I don't know. It's a shame that he's not still around to kind of like give us like his point of view or or like a reference to this stuff to like know like what he was thinking in the moment. It is a shame, but
maybe he told somebody, and
maybe that he's got like some manuscripts or something like hidden somewhere, and like maybe like 10 years from now, like 20 years from now, we'll get some sort of reveal of like, oh, like this is what he was thinking about at these particular times. I don't know. I mean, he was a very mysterious man, so it's hard to say exactly what he was thinking in the moment of making this show. But it's like now that you mentioned that, like it makes sense that I think it would make sense that like he probably wanted to be more involved, and this is like his way of like rectifying that. So, but the fight scenes was really cool.
Like I said, I really enjoyed that fight scene. Just the fighting as a whole in the show is good.
Yeah. So yeah, like the choreography in that fight was really good. Once again, I love how cocky Goku was, because he knows he could take on all those guys, and those guys just underestimated him, like everybody always seems to do. So yeah, after that fight, they then decided that, okay, like, yeah, like they asked for a plane. They were able to get him a plane, and Pansy decides that she wants to go along with them to kind of, fix all of this as well. And Goku and Pansy seem to develop a pretty solid like relationship at that point. Like they fist bump after a conversation. They seem like their goals are aligned, and therefore I think it's definitely going to be a good friendship between the two. And then Shin asks if they could get a message to the outside world to go and let them know where they're going to be and how to get into the demon realm.
Yeah,
so
they still don't know the pin.
So they call somebody over, and it's one of the Yardratians.
Was he
One of the two Yardratian races, yeah. Like do you remember in the Super manga? Because you did like a watch thing of where Vegeta goes to Yardrat to learn what Goku learned in the Moro fight.
Okay.
Yeah, like he's a Yardratian.
I didn't put that together.
Or she's a Yardratian. I think it's a she. I think they mentioned that I can't remember the character's name.
I can't either.
But she was also kind of like a lazy person. Was like, oh, do I have to do this? Like,
I was going to the.
I was gonna go do other things.
Yeah, going to the fashion show.
Oh yeah, he was gonna do fashion.
Yeah.
But that was also a really cool like callback. It's cool because it's the first time we've seen that particular Yardratian race like in canon now. Before Moro, which I think is very. It's a bit of a misstep, but I guess it's cooler that they saw him sooner rather than later. It's a cool tie-in to what's to come.
I do like the little things they put in there in the show too that kind of even throw back to Super. Like Shin was was it when they were talking to them? Because he was like, yeah, you gotta go. He's like, go meet our friends, on Earth, Universe 7.
Yeah.
So like he draws back to Universe 7 to Super too. So I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah. And the thing that they were holding to kind of pinpoint where on Universe 7, like where the lookout was, kind of reminded me of a Dragon Radar a little bit too.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, so now we know how Vegeta and them are going to get to the Demon Realm. They're going to get there from the Yardratian character, which is pretty cool. And then Pansy puts all of her belongings. She brings like 5, yeah, like every single thing along with it. It kind of reminded me of Bulma going to Namek. And she's just bringing like every little piece of luggage that she has. So yeah, they get on the plane and they start heading off to. They were going to go to the second realm, right? Is that?
Something like that. Yeah,
No, they were going to the Tamagami.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because of the new plan they were gonna do. They were gonna go fight the Tamagami.
Yeah,
go fight them, and then
that was a conversation. That was the conversation in episode 4 that they had before going into town. Was Goku was asking about the Tamagamis, how strong they were, and he figured it would be a good idea to actually go get the Dragon Balls on their journey so that they can wish themselves to be grown again. I think was the wish they wanted to make.
No, I thought it was it?
It was to make them all older again, so that way it would be easy. Like if trouble came along, then they would be back to their normal selves. Because the Dragon Balls are inert back home. They can't. Yeah, the Dragon Balls were inert back home, so like they couldn't wish themselves back to normal unless they got the Demon World Dragon Balls.
Because I thought they were gonna wish something with Dende.
Well, I think that was part of the plan. Was like on their way to go save Dende, they were gonna make themselves big again. Like while they were gonna go and save Dende.
I'll have to.
You guys can let us know in the comments where we're misremembering here. But it's been a week. It's just been a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then they so they get on the plane and they start heading to the first Tamagami, which I think they said it was going to take 4 days to get to. Which that's that's a long time. Like, I think that's bigger than what Earth is. Like,
that's a pretty long flight.
yeah,
They're probably going pretty fast too.
yeah. And then, like you said, they have car trouble again, and the plane starts going down.
Yep.
And
luckily, Pansy can fix. She's a mechanic, so hopefully get that back up.
Yep. But that was where the episode ended for there too. So where would you rate this new episode?
8.6.
I'd probably give this episode an 8 too. It's similar to the last episode. The action was good towards the end. There was some solid build up in terms of characters. The mystery was still relevant and felt exciting to like really just kind of explore. Yeah, I'd give this episode an 8 as well. I'm wondering what a bad episode of Daima would actually be. Like the show's been pretty consistent so far. So it's
no bad episodes. Definitely not.
Like there's not been a single episode yet that I'm like, oh, it's a 6. It's a 5. It's okay. Like, I haven't had that feeling just yet. So like if these are what all the first 5 episodes are like, I don't know where a bad episode would even like fall in line and what that would even look like. But I guess, we're technically at around the quarter point. We might be an episode or 2 away from the quarter point, of the show, but we'll see. We'll see, I guess. Hopefully the dub comes out a little sooner rather than later.
Yes. Still mad I missed that.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see what all the other dub actors do with all these other characters. So it'll be a good time. But that is going to do it, I guess, for today's episode. A little bit on the shorter side, but again, this week kind of restricted us from being able to actually like get together and be able to record this. So next week's episode we'll talk about, because Friday is in 2 days from the time of recording, so episode 6 will be out. Set 4 of Fusion World will be out, so we could probably have a small discussion on set 4. And how, and all the changes and stuff that happened in the client and stuff. We could talk about that a little bit before getting into that. And yeah, I mean, it's just waiting until the next episode. So, thank you guys so much for listening. We do greatly appreciate all the listeners. Sitting down, feel more than free to let us know what your guys' thoughts are. But that will do it for today. Thank you guys again for coming for KamehaRadio, a Dragon Ball podcast. We will see you guys all in the next episode. See ya.